Soporifique, monsieur Boudera. C'est 424 milliards d'euros empruntés à 2,63% dans une zone euro. Le taux d'inflation, excusez-moi, est à 10,2. C'est important les chiffres. Les Français,
ils sont pas mis au bon endroit.
Monsieur Boudera,
alors, on va rester dans la courtoisie, dans le respect.
300 pages de vide intersidéral payées par le contribuable français.
Franchement, je pense que ma grand-mère aurait mieux fait.
Bah écoutez, montez un cabinet de consulting avec votre grand-mère.
Très bonne idée, merci.
C'est inacceptable.
Monsieur Tisson, on va essayer de rester calme autour de ce plateau et de parler de mettre.
Non, monsieur Tisson, vous n'êtes pas calme.
It was a brilliant and poignant message in such a succinct way. Well done. A call to action. You know, meanwhile, we're arguing over policy and issues. We are slowly seeing the climate change, and there's a lack of focus on the major issue that is at our feet, slowly rising until it's too late. I really liked the premise of this. It's clearly a symbol of what will happen to the world if we are content on ignoring the issue that is climate change. I would really be curious to know how they produced this safely. I really liked how they showed use this element of these talking head characters arguing. It very much reminded me of what you see on a news channel, going back and forth about various political issues, very little focus on human decency. It was very timely. I was curious if everyone involved had some sort of stunt background, because it didn't look like any of this was CGI or AI generated. It looked like real water. So I'm like, where did they shoot this? How? It was very fascinating.
It will never cease to amaze me how a piece can make such an impression in under 2 minutes. Though this is a French piece, you could reshoot this in any country, really, any, fully developed country around the world with the exact same set pieces, and it would still apply. The message here is so crisp and strong and precise and impactful. And the metaphor is, in my opinion, not in any way heavy-handed, because it has reached this point where we need to be so verbose in our visual depictions to get the point across of how severe and serious the climate condition is.
Really powerful imagery, just, conveying the message of the more we argue amongst ourselves as countries, as political opponents, as about climate change, about what we should do, about taxpayer money, what that should go to, while we're arguing about everything, the climate crisis is just getting worse. We're passing the point of no return when it comes to turning back time on our environment and the damage that has already been, inflicted and continues to occur. It's all just continuing while we argue amongst ourselves and get nothing, nothing actually gets done. And we're seeing with this short what can occur if we really do nothing and we continue to argue. So yeah, the imagery in this was super powerful. There was some excellent acting in this film. It takes real talent to completely ignore that you are submerged in water, to just act naturally as if nothing's happened. So great acting there. Excellent concept, like I said before, very important message. It's short and sweet and gets the point across really easily.
I thought this was such an interesting perspective, especially with the current kind of talk about climate and the current discussion and the current arguments and everything else. I loved this perspective of, if as a society, if we can't get on the same page, if we can't figure out a cohesive plan together, if we can't get past the squabbling and the everything else and start putting a plan in action that is effective enough on a global scale, then it's not going to matter. We're just going to be sitting around yelling at each other as nature takes its course and does what it's going to do. I loved the perspective. I thought it was so on the nose. I thought it was so accurate in that kind of like, it's almost funny if it wasn't such a scary depiction of something that like has a reasonable chance of happening. I thought they absolutely nailed it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was poignant. I thought it was very easy to understand what was going on, and their message at the end, like, if we don't take care of this, of climate change, it's going to take care of us 100%.
Very, very clever. While as this started, I really wasn't sure what was going on. I had no idea what to expect, but as soon as that last thing hits, that last text hits, everything makes sense. And I'm sure that had to have been a fun shoot for the actors. Kind of sucks to do a second take, but great cinematography, great underwater photography that you did, and a very, very clever idea.
This is what art is supposed to do. This is satire at its best. The idea of like, bros they just yapping and arguing while the flood is happening right there in front of them, and they just keep arguing like that. You can't make your point more concise and effectively than that. Like, brilliant, like 10 out of 10, no notes.